may have, I'm not sure when his birthday is, but they may have been 20 and 14 years old if they were together romantically. And again, ain't no law, nowhere, no how, unless your parents are signing off on it, that says that.
Was the only person there for that graduation. I think there was adult family members.
Could Celeste Riva's own family have played a role in hiding what really happened to her? That's the question shaking everyone right now, because the newest evidence coming out isn't just surprising, it's disturbing. For months, people thought this case was simple. A young woman vanishes, her body is eventually found, and somehow a celebrity's name gets dragged. D. Fisher just flipped that whole narrative on its head, hinting that the real truth might have been sitting right in front of us the whole time. And here's the wild part. The people who may have helped hide that truth could be the very same people who claimed they were desperate to find her. New info suggests Celeste's own family might have known more than they ever told police, including where she was, who she was spending time with, and how long she might have still been alive after they reported her missing.
So the Daily Mail stated that Celeste ran away because her family did not approve of her alleged relationships with D4vd, better known as David Burt. Of course not. Why would they? Right? Because she's underage.
Photos, videos, and public records create a timeline that straight up doesn't match the story her relatives gave investigators. And those, as detectives piece together her final year, the silence surrounding Celeste's situation feels heavier than bricks. This is way bigger than a celebrity-linked car or a buzzworthy headline. This is about a young woman whose truth got buried under layers of secrets, and those secrets might have protected the wrong people. For the longest time, everyone believed the family's version, that Celeste ran away in April 2024 and nobody heard from her again. They insisted she disappeared, and they had no clue where she'd gone. But now that more information is coming out, that version is looking shakier by the second.
She said how her mom didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
It's been confirmed that Celeste was seen several times after that so-called last disappearance. And these weren't rumors. This was real evidence. Private investigator Steve Fisher posted photos showing Celeste at her cousin Esmeralda's graduation on May 30th, 2024. Then months later, in September 2024, another video popped up, this time showing Celeste outside her home in Lake Elsinore getting into it with neighbors.
If someone just moved Celeste's body, possibly under California law, that may be just a misdemeanor. There's a law that says every person who, having knowledge of an accidental death, actively conceals or attempts to conceal that death shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, punishable by imprisonment in a county jail for not more than 1.
These sightings don't just tweak the timeline, they destroy it. And if the timeline is broken, someone had to know something. She was alive. She was right there. And somehow her family was still out telling the world she was missing. That's not just confusing. That's wild. In public, while her disappearance was still being pushed online, that means somebody in that house chose silence over honesty. Instead of calling the police and saying, she's back, she's safe, somebody decided to keep quiet. And that choice changed everything. Neighbors even said family members told them not to bother looking for her, claiming she was with relatives near Los Angeles.
You don't even go to the house. Hey, bro. I'm not Mexican. I'm Salvadorian. You tripping.
Oh my God.
Not because you tripping.
That kind of move doesn't feel protective. It feels like someone was trying to keep eyes off the real situation. And that's heartbreaking, because if the people closest to her already knew where she was, their silence didn't just hide the truth. It might have blocked her from getting the protection she actually needed. According to Fisher, this wasn't just about privacy or being overwhelmed. He believes the family's silence came from fear of Child Protective Services stepping in.
It was, I think, if they got a good toxicology, let's say it came back and it was clearly an overdose of some sort, whether somebody administered that or she took it herself and it was an accident is a different thing. A cause would be, a rough manner would be whether it was self-administered or administered by someone else. I would think that there would have been some sort of indication by now, and that could be, then initial charges could be dropped.
Reporting Celeste as safe, he says. could have opened the door to deeper questions about what was going on inside that home. And some people did not want that spotlight on them. The more you piece together the whole picture, the clearer it gets that Celeste's home life was nothing like the calm, caring image shown to the public. On the outside, folks saw a family begging for answers, handing out flyers, doing interviews, saying they just wanted her home. But behind that polished version, investigators were hearing something completely different. Celeste's relationship with her family was extremely strained.
There were multiple items that could be used together, heavy-duty tools and machinery that you would never see in a Hollywood Hills home.
People in Lake Elsinore already knew she had run away more than once. And every time she came back, things inside that home allegedly got even more tense. Reports point to emotional or verbal conflict, maybe even physical, the kind of environment that makes someone feel cornered with nowhere to breathe. People who knew her said she didn't talk about running away like it was some joke. She said it because it felt like the only option she had. Even an old boyfriend from when they were both in middle school remembered her saying she wanted to escape the constant yelling, the heavy tension, and that feeling that she wasn't safe even in her own space. And if all this is true, then everything we thought we understood about Celeste's disappearance gets turned upside down. Now that all this new information is coming out, investigators are starting to look at Celeste's case in a whole new light. For the longest time, everybody kept their eyes locked on that Tesla, David's name, and the big question, how did Celeste even end up in that car? But the conversation has shifted, and what people are talking about now cuts way deeper than a vehicle or a celebrity connection. It's about what happened before all of that, and who might have chosen to look away instead of stepping in. Steve Fisher has been real vocal about how strange this whole situation feels. He's the one who pointed out the obvious. No matter what, a crime did happen because someone hid a body. That alone changes the tone of everything. And he didn't stop there. He said the real question isn't just who put her in that car, but why nobody spoke up way earlier. Fisher also hinted that everything could shift again once the coroner's final report drops. If they find Celeste didn't die from violence but from neglect or some kind of preventable accident, investigators are going to start asking a much heavier question. Not who hit her, but who failed her. Because if her unaliving could have been prevented and people around her kept quiet while knowing more than they claimed, then this isn't just about someone hiding a body. This becomes about accountability and whether anybody in her circle will ever face it. Let's be real. This whole situation flipped the moment that car got discovered. Celeste's body was found inside a Tesla registered to David. That's not gossip. That's confirmed. And even though police haven't linked him to any homicide, it's impossible to ignore how everything keeps looping back to him and the people around her. Every path, every timeline, every clue seems to circle the same group over and over again. What makes this even stranger is that even with a car, a broken timeline, and all these new claims that some family members might have known where she was, the case is still stuck. The LAPD hasn't dropped the final toxicology results. So right now, everyone is basically sitting here waiting, hoping for answers that just refuse to show up. There were also items reportedly found at the house David was staying in. Things people said looked like signs someone had. People started whispering that whatever was found in that house looked like someone had plans to hide or get rid of something. And that alone sent chills through everyone following this case. There were reports about multiple items that could be used together. Heavy-duty tools and machinery you would never expect to see in a Hollywood Hills home. Nobody has confirmed exactly what those items were, but the descriptions floating around were unsettling enough to make folks pause. Still, none of it proves how Celeste died or who is responsible, and that's the part keeping this whole story stuck in limbo. Right now, the entire case feels frozen in place, like everyone is just holding their breath and waiting for the next shoe to drop. But if any of those reports turn out to be true, then the line between protecting someone and hiding the truth just got razor thin, almost invisible. The internet has been locked into this case since day one, but now the conversation has totally shifted. People aren't just talking about the car or the timeline anymore. They're questioning everyone around Celeste, especially the people closest to her. One comment that's been going viral said, "Okay, because when everything was happening, I literally said, my biggest takeaway from this is the parents need to also be arrested for either complicity or negligence. They are not surprised enough." And honestly, that's exactly what a lot of people have been thinking. It's one thing to mourn, but it's another thing to act like you knew nothing when screenshots and timelines tell a whole different story. Another user threw out a line that had the whole internet nodding like, wow, that family turned plot twist into an Olympic sport. Every time you think the story is settled, another lie jumps out like surprise confetti. As wild as it sounds, that comment captures the exhaustion people are feeling. Not just from how tragic this case is, but from the constant twists and the truth hiding behind so many contradictions. And then there are the folks who've been suspicious from the very beginning, saying, I've been said that the family had to be in on it. That sentiment is spreading fast. People are connecting dots on their own, comparing statements, screenshots, timelines, and truth be told, none of it looks good for anybody involved in Celeste's circle. So yeah, people are fired up right now. And honestly, they've got every reason to be, because this whole situation is starting to look less like a missing truth and more like a truth that was straight up buried. And the wildest part, little by little, that truth is crawling back to the surface whether anyone wants it to or not. Until those final reports drop and investigators finally give answers straight from the source, this case is far from over. Not even close. There's still way too much that doesn't line up. Too many gaps. Too many contradictions. And the silence from the people involved is starting to sound louder than the actual facts. That's what makes everything feel so intense. Like something big is sitting right under the surface just waiting to come out. I'm gonna keep following every single update as it comes in. And the second something new breaks, you already know we're talking about it right here. This story is nowhere near finished, so stay locked in and don't miss what comes next. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one.